All right. Good morning. I am going to sit and sip on some coffee, and I will wait on a few more people to get on and join me for my very first live. So excited to be here. Yay. So, let's talk about today. I want to introduce myself to you guys. And I want to talk about how I got diagnosed or how I found out that I have breast cancer. So, a lot of you are my new bosom buddies, but there are a lot of people that have been my friends for a minute. So, if they follow me on my YouTube channel, then they know that I've been dealing with this for a minute, not breast cancer. However, I've been dealing with the fact that I knew I was BRCA positive. And for those of you that don't know what that BRCA gene is, if you're in the cancer community, I'm sure you know what the BRCA gene is. That's a breast cancer gene, or basically it's a mutated gene that lies dormant, and it's hereditary. So my mother and my mother's mother and my mother's mother's mother, right? They all had breast cancer. So let's back up to about a year and a half ago. Maybe even 2 years ago, my mom, she told me that I needed to, her doctor had told her, if you have kids, go ahead and just tell them to go and get tested for the BRCA mutation. So went to my gynecologist, and I was like, oh yeah, you know what? Hey, let's check on this breast cancer mutation gene. Is there a way that I can check on that? And so there's, I guess, a blood test. So went ahead, we got the blood test. And actually, this probably was, I'm fast forwarding, this was in 2019, as a matter of fact, I remember. So I got the test done. It came back that I was BRCA1 positive. I was devastated. However, cancer, I had the mutation. They said that I had some time. They asked me if I wanted to do a prophylactic mastectomy. At that time, I was just like, no, I'm not doing that, So they would tiptoe around the mastectomy with me every time I would go to my GYN. And so I was like, I ain't doing that. For me, I was like, I think that I would feel like I'm less than a woman, if I didn't have breasts. That's how I was thinking at the time. Don't ask me why I was thinking that. That's how I was thinking. So anyway, so I'm like, no, not doing it. I was devastated. I was stressed. I had already had a hysterectomy. So I was like, well, I'm already having a hysterectomy. I want to take my breast too. I'm not doing that. My doctors felt like the hysterectomy was a good idea for me because I kept getting cysts on my ovaries. So if you have a BRCA1 mutation, that affects the breast, it affects the pancreas, and it affects your ovaries. So those are the type of cancers that you can get. So I'm like, okay, I already had my hysterectomy. I don't have no ovaries. I'm not worried about that. I ain't taking my breast too. So anyways, fast forward to about a year and a half ago, I finally decided, okay, you know what? Let me be proactive. I know I'm a little bit more educated. Let me go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and prophylactically do this mastectomy, this double mastectomy. I spoke with my husband. He was just like, if it's something that's going to prevent you from becoming a cancer patient and having cancer, then that's something that you need to do. You know how many women are walking around here with fake breasts anyway, because I was going to get reconstruction anyway, right? So then I talked to my son, who at the time was 24, and I asked him, hey, how do you feel about this? And my son was like, Mom, if it's going to save you, I think you need to do it. And so I was like, you know what? I think I will go ahead and do it. Talk to my daughters about it, and even told my daughters that they need to go ahead and get tested. And so we had planned it, right? I had step one for the double mastectomy. We were going to do something that's called a nipple sparing mastectomy. And so the first step last year, March of last year, I had that done. So we did the first procedure to where they reposition the nipples. They go ahead. They also did like a little like reduction just to make sure that everything would be in proportion. I was just waiting on that procedure to heal. I had my surgery scheduled for my preventative mastectomy so that I wouldn't have to go through chemotherapy and I wouldn't have to have cancer, right? So had that procedure canceled. I had that scheduled for last July. And a week before it's time for my surgery, I go for my pre-op and they say, oh, can't do your surgery. Your pre-albumin is too low. So I'm like, okay, my pre-albumin, that deals with my protein and that deals with your nourishment. So I'm like, I'm not malnourished. Look at me. Do I look malnourished? Like I eat. I eat protein. So they're like, nope, we can't do it. It also affects the way that you heal, infection and all that. So, any prudent doctor would not do a huge surgery like that if your pre-albumin is low. My surgery was going to be an 8 to 10 hour surgery. I was going to have a deep flap procedure done. 2 surgeons were going to be operating at the same time. I would have my general surgeon do the mastectomy and then my reconstructive surgeon at the same time for the deep flap. They go into your stomach. They take out a nerve and a artery and a nerve along with skin. They go deep into the stomach and then they make the breast. So they weren't going to do it. So they were like, no, it's going to be more than a week for you to get your pre-albumin up. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to risk it. Go to your primary care physician, see what you can do to get your pre-albumin up, and then we'll do the surgery. So that was my first pitfall. So I was like, okay, I had my mind right, my mind ready to do this procedure. And now y'all saying I can't have it. So, okay, got my pre-albumin. It took a couple months. I got my pre-albumin up. At the time I was in school, I was in my master's program and, finishing that. And so my pre-albumin came up. And so then I called the doctor. They said, okay, we'll do it February of 2024. And so I was like, cool. We can have it done February of 2024. I'm ready. They had me talk to a psychologist and everything. I guess it's a loss. So they want to make sure that mentally you're prepared for the, ramifications or what you're losing a body part. So I was good. Finished school, graduated in December, preparing for it 5 days before my surgery. But I was getting ready for my pre-admit procedures. I get a call from my doctor saying, hey, we need to see you in the office. We changed the way that we're going to do the procedure. So I'm like, what? Wait, what do you mean you changed the way you're going to do it? Well, it's not going to be a one-step procedure now. Now what's going to happen is you're going to have 2 procedures. So, and guys, go ahead and like and share this live if you would, please, so that I want to get this information out to everybody. So anyway, you're going to have 2 procedures now. We're not going to do just one. So we'll go in. The surgeon is still going to do the mastectomy, but now I'm not going to do the deep flap right now. I'm going to put expanders in. You'll wear those for a couple weeks to a couple months until we get them to the size or whatever where they need to be and heal. And then we'll come back in and then we'll have another surgery. And then I'll do the deep flap procedure. And I'm like, I ain't doing that. Like, do you know how long it took for me to decide that I was even going to have a mastectomy? And you told me that I was not going to wake up looking like a boy. That was another thing. You promised me that, hey, you won't wake up looking like a boy. You'll wake up, you'll have your breast, everything will be done. One stop shop, everything is good. That's what y'all told me. So I was like, I don't know about that. Like, now you want me to too. And plus, I'm like, I just started teaching, because I am a nursing professor at the School of Nursing here